call me Mystic Mike because I predict these things.
Brunno Ferreira takes on Jackson McVey this Saturday at UFC 318. And this is going to be a really fun fight, I think. Jackson McVey making his UFC debut on short notice. He was supposed to be fighting Cedric Dumas back in June, and then Cedric Dumas pulled out. And then he was supposed to fight Chris Ewert, who was like 10 pounds overweight, so they ended up canceling the fight. So now he's taking on Brunno Ferreira, who was supposed to be fighting Ikram Aliskerov, who had to pull out. So Brunno Ferreira going to be the guy with the full camp. Jackson McVey, I don't know if he stayed in camp, but he was taking obviously that last fight on short notice. So he didn't have a full camp heading into that one. So who knows if he stayed in training camp or kept preparing for this one. He did fight back in June, though. He fought on a LFA card back on June 13th and was going to make a 2-week turnaround for the short notice fight in the UFC. So who knows? But Brunno Ferreira, 32 years old. He's 5'10" with a 72-inch reach, and he's 13-2 in the UFC. Just a tank of a man. Yoked up, very powerful, very explosive. All 12 of his wins are by stoppage. He's a jiu-jitsu and judo black belt. He's just one of those guys you're not really going to be pushing him around the cage. Just kind of a ball of muscle, tank of a human, good chin, tons of finishing potential anywhere this fight goes. Power on the feet, deceptively fast, has heavy kicks, and has really good jiu-jitsu on the ground, coming in off of a armbar win over Armen Petrosian. Took his back at the end of the second round and then transitioned to an armbar. Before that, lost to Abus Magomedov. He was tagging Abus on the feet, and then Magomedov was able to get the takedowns, get the third round arm triangle choke. Knockouts over Stoltzfus and Phil Hawes. Got knocked out by Ruziboev early in that fight, which no shame in that, but then made that UFC debut with a knockout over Gregory Rodriguez. So can excuse his losses to Ruziboev and Magomedov. Those guys are very high level, and he has some really good wins against some really tough guys. So Jackson McVey gonna have a tough night out for him. This is probably one of the worst matchups he could have. Maybe not one of the worst, but you'd want somebody easier than Brunno Ferreira because he's just an absolute dog and very talented. But Jackson McVey is going to be significantly rangier and taller than Brunno Ferreira. He's 6'4" with a 77-inch reach, so he's going to be 6 inches taller, have a 5-inch reach advantage. Jackson McVey, he's very long for the division, fights well in the clinch with knees and elbows. I could see him taking advantage of that with the shorter opponent, and Brunno Ferreira gets solid trips and takedowns from there. Has a really good sacrifice throw he was using on the regional scene. Good grappling, sneaky submissions, had a really sneaky darce, very fast darce he locked in on a guy on the regional scene to make him tap. And he's just a very crafty southpaw with strong, straight punches, those really good straight punches. But it's hard for me to pick him in this one against Brunno Ferreira. I think Brunno Ferreira gets this one done. He's just got more experience, more experience in general at the professional level. He's got 15 fights compared to Jackson McVey's 6, so almost 3 times as many fights. More UFC experience, fought the much better guys. He's had the full camp. And this is just an extremely tough out for somebody making their fight or making their debut in the UFC, let alone making it on short notice. I could see Jackson McVey potentially, using his range. If Ferreira struggled with the length of Armen Petrosian and the reach of him in their fight, and I could see Jackson McVey kind of utilizing his reach on the feet to put pressure on Brunno and keep him on the back foot en route to kind of just winning a decision. But I got to go with Brunno Ferreira in this one. He's just too much of a savage. He can hurt you anywhere the fight goes, and he's just got the experience edge, the UFC edge over somebody like Jackson McVey, who's taking it on short notice, But I would not be shocked if Jackson McVey could pull this one out of the hat, but I just don't see it happening in this one. So I'm going to go with Brunno Ferreira to get this one done. Thanks.